Good afternoon, people. Julian back one more time. Welcome to another round of myself versus the world, my own little self-help section of YouTube, in which by that I mean I'm helping myself. And you're helping me too. Thank you. I'm going to get straight into it because I think this time we have quite a lot of ground to cover because as you can see, I actually have a crap ton of notes, which is a step in the right direction after last week. So let's roll right into it. I'll tell you what's been up this week. Someone told me just yesterday, and they're absolutely right, that my goals that I talk about on here are not really goals in the strictest sense of the word. They're more like short-term action items. And I got to thinking about that. And I said, that's not far off the mark. All of these things come off a little bit like a weekly laundry list of what I'm going to try to get done this week, and there's no real context about where I'm going with it all. So I have to do better. I'm going to pause here for a second and tell you, I've got some hellacious allergies this week. I have no idea. There's 2 times a year when Mother Nature really just turns against me, and I can't figure out what it is out there doing this, but if I sniffle and sneeze and everything else, I always said warts and all. I may just leave that in there, and I apologize in advance. But I do need to do a better job about talking about why I'm doing these things I'm talking about doing every week. What are the big goals? What am I working towards? Because you kind of might know, but you don't really know what I'm up to here. So I'm going to start doing that ASAP, but not today. Today I'm stuck with this current format that I work with. I will, though, however, start calling my goals not goals, but action items, and I'll differentiate those from the goals going forward. Baby steps, people, baby steps. So, mentioned that was told to me by a good buddy of mine, and that very same someone, I found out, is actually going to do something similar to what I'm doing here. I'm hoping to get his YouTube channel to put into the comments here at the bottom. The man's name's Nathan. He's going to kind of be starting out on a similar project as this, and I think it's called Better by 40. If I got it wrong, sorry, Nathan. I will correct it in next week's shot. But I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with it. He's got 48-ish weeks, I think, at the time of this recording until he turns 40, and he wants to be better at 40 than he's ever been. And so I wish him all the luck in the world with that, and I can't wait to see what you do with it, brother. Good luck. There's a new roof that has gone up on the house. If I had recorded this cast on time, you would have heard a lot of banging and drilling and, all kinds of power tool action going on up there. I mentioned a while back that was on the laundry list of action items that needed to be done. So that happened yesterday, and those guys came in, got it done. Mr. Weaver and his crew, I can't recommend them highly enough. It looks great, feels great, even though you can't tell because I'm sweating like a banshee again today. I just do that, folks. It's part of me. They put that new roof up yesterday, so now everything is great. I can't wait for it to rain so I can hear that rain on tin sort of sound that puts me straight to sleep. The only downside is the dog doesn't know how to act anymore, and every time an acorn hits the tin roof, he loses his mind. So we're going to have to fix that in short order. It's driving me nuts. Okay, so that's really all the progress that has been made, or all the new happenings, rather, that has been made this week. We're going to talk about the progress right now. Goals, action items, if you will, for last week were to, number 1, figure out if and where Grayman Industries was going to not go in the hole, but to spend a little bit more money than I'm comfortable using. I did that. I got one of the 2 projects expensed, which I would show it to you, but I forgot to bring it over here. I got a new phone, which is upgradable to the latest Android, so I can check on whether or not my code, the plugin, or the old and busted phone is to blame for all of the hardship and heartache and pain that I've been dealing with that project for the last few weeks. Just came in yesterday. I've got the great joy of setting up a brand new phone. It's a nightmare. Wish me luck with it. I haven't had a new phone in about 7 years. Yeah, 7 years. Okay, so the other, with a little bit more research into virtual tours, I'm planning on also pulling the trigger on that second project. I got a new client here that I'll talk about one of these days as soon as all my clients say, yeah, you can talk about us on YouTube. But for now, it's great. It's a fantastic opportunity I have to do some networking work. I did start playing the guitar this week, found out that the bass and the guitar are two entirely different animals. So it seems like every time I pick up a new instrument, I can just go ahead and start on tutorial number 3 on whatever that instrument is. So basically that means playing the major scale on the guitar. And since the camera's in focus this week, here it is, maybe where you can see it. Relict guitar, courtesy of Robbie. And I think we picked up a project, PJ Bass, that he's actually going to, maybe not relic for me, but refinish and set up again. Man, I get so much free instrument work out of Robbie just because he loves what he does. He probably should open up a shop. I don't know. Maybe I'll recommend he do that. Let's talk about this recording last week for just a minute while I sweat all over everything that I own here. I mentioned improving the production quality on these videos, and I did that by trying a new lighting setup, and the lighting worked great. But as you probably noticed, you were looking at my kitchen and not me, which, you know, I understand my kitchen probably looks better than me, but the whole thing was just wicked fuzzy. I don't know what to tell you about that. I got to apologize and let you know that it is with profound regret that I had to fire my brand new videographer, Mr. Weeble Badshot Von Magoo, because of this incident. I mean, after all, I went and looked at the direction he was heading, and I can't get on board with it. Check this out. I do have the rights to this. Next cast would have gone something like this. Good afternoon and welcome to round A of the challenge that I'm facing on making myself better every week. We have a lot to go over, so let's just get right to it, shall we? And we just can't have that. He looked good on paper, but what can you do? I did say that I wanted to get some B-roll put into the cast. I failed at that, but in failing, I also... I think the fail was a fail forward, and let me tell you why. I found this nifty little piece of kit in my old junk pile. Hang on, let me go get it. This old and busted guy right here. Look at it. The JVC Averio hard disk drive well, I don't know, HDD recorder. It's not a VHS recorder, obviously. That would be about roughly the size of this room. But this guy right here fits in the palm of my hand, not subject to the limitations of a certain other recording device that I shan't mention. And I think it'll be good for getting me out and about on the property. I think I can record about 100 hours. I'm going to have fun with it here next week, getting it out with the other unnamed recording device and seeing if I can compare the shooting, the quality of footage side by side, and I'll let you guys make up your mind about that as well. I'd like to kind of put them in there and do a fun little A/B test with it. So I'm okay with failing because it allowed me to find this thing this week. I put my energy into finding old junk that might work for me. It's old, but again, I'm looking forward to not having those limitations. I'll try and, let's see, put a few more effects in here where appropriate. I said I was going to try to do that, and I am trying. That's harder than I thought. There's a lot of learning to do on this Kdenlive application that I'm using to get these out there, but it's really cool, guys. If you use Linux, highly recommend it for video recording, or video editing, rather. I'm working on it, and I promise you I'll get there. I did say I wanted to get back to running, and I did that, although I've done it in spurts, fits, and starts, because I'm sprinting more so than I'm running. Number one, because sprinting seems to hurt less for some reason. I still have that Achilles heel thing going on. But also, it just takes less time. And I get that, I get that lung pump thing happening. I said there were 2 quotes out. I got one of them in. And again, I mentioned it at the beginning of this recording. I'll talk to you about those guys shortly if they want me to. If not, I will respect their anonymity. My SP is continuing to be a pain in my posterior. And hopefully now that the phone is in, we can get that working again. We don't know. Is it a plug-in not working? Is it my ancient phone? I really hope that it is my ancient phone, because I just replaced that and I don't want it to be for nothing. So wish me luck there. I'm going to continue to work on that. I want to... coming up this week, let's talk about the action items for this week, because it looks like I'm about 11 and a half minutes in. There, Acorn just hit the roof. Did you hear that? Dog heard it. Anyway, for this next week, on this recording, once again, I'm going to roll over that action item of getting out of the house and starting a tour of the property, and just to give everyone an idea of exactly what I'm up against. I'm going to test my old and busted video camera against the, I'll go ahead and say, Nikon, and see if it's really worth having a 2-camera rig kind of happening. I'll test a new audio setup as well, which ought to be very entertaining. As for myself, I'm going to start enforcing my planning period, because I find that when I do that, all of these things go well. This recording right here is kind of an example of a semi-enforced planning period last week, but it's I'm about 50% on that. I need to do better, because it's a half hour well spent at the beginning of and the end of the day. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around that. I see it as wasted time, when in actuality I'm doing the right thing. Because me and not planning, ooh. All right, so as far as business goes, I need to write up a detailed proposal for some network activity. What is it? Network configuration. Let's go with that. Network configuration that needs to be done with this newest client. I do need to learn the ins and outs of virtual tours. Why? You're going to like the results of that, man. I may put that to work here on this property. Maybe I can set up a virtual tour of this entire cluster that I have going on around here. So maybe that'll be how I do the learning. I don't know. It'll help me in multiple ways. I can do it for YouTube, and if that works out, then I can do it for someone else. Here on the homestead, one real quick note, what's going on this week with the bees. It's time to treat the bees for varroa mites. I have every intention of letting you guys in on that action, because I've never done that before. And angry bees being shaken up in a sugar-filled container and then dumped out onto a plate ought to make for some wicked good show. And that's really about it. I'm happy to report that life seems to be improving. I would like to continue to make it so. Go check out Nathan on his channel, Better by 40. Again, if I got that wrong, then I'm sure he will correct me. And I will issue my formal apology next week. I should have the link in the bottom of the description here. And guys, you keep swinging, I'll keep swinging. Welcome to the fight. See you next time.